Over the years, we have had billions allocated to the Ministry of Health. 2021-2022 financial year, 129 billion. 2023-2024 financial budgetary allocation to the Ministry of Health was 134 billion. And if we count it on the reverse to yesteryears, 5 years, I dare say, we have allocated over 500 billion shillings to the health sector. How could we fail so monumentally? How can the health insurance fund of a country fail in such a big way, while health insurance funds for counties like Murang'a are working perfectly? To the extent that if a patient walks into a hospital that is only requiring you to pay in cash, the health insurance fund management sends money to the patient's mobile phone and they pay in cash. That it pays bills as high as 400,000 shillings with lesser deductions that the health insurance fund we have today tells us there is a problem. And instead of chest thumping and the CS Health declaring how much of a success Shift Shah Taifa Care is, why don't they go back to the drawing board and sit down with the stakeholders? Instead of having private hospital association and rural hospital associations withdraw services from Kenyans under SHA and requiring them to pay cash, which majority of them cannot pay, in fact, in the rural areas. Why can the government sit down with them and identify where the problems are? Mark you, we allocate all this amount while we only have, say, 4 level 6 or 7 hospitals in the country. Health is a devolved function. Why is it failing so monumentally? Why does a person from Garissa have to travel to Nairobi KNH to be treated with an allocation of 134 billion Kenya shillings? Why hasn't the Ministry of Health set aside some of these funds to construct hospitals to ensure that health is well taken care of? These are failures on an industrial scale. Albeit, to be fair, new systems can run into problems. But the moment you realize there's a problem, you go back to the drawing board and solve the problem. And ensure that once the problem is solved, there's a smooth running. Let's understand this. There's a serious problem while you deduct 50, 23, 30, or 50,000, as the president said he pays, for a health insurance fund that only allocates 4,000 shillings for you in the ICU. For heaven's sake, majority of the ICU facilities in any given hospital, you will not spend less than 200,000 a day. And if less, 100,000, say. Why then would you allocate 4,000 shillings to an ICU patient? That Otieno, that Mama Njeri from Ushago, will they be able to pay for 200,000 a night? I personally witnessed NHIF paying for a patient over 500,000 shillings in the ICU. It may not have been the perfect system. It may have been marred by corruption and its fair share of trouble. But is what we have any better? Can't we fix it? We have a system of 104 billion shillings in place. Can't we fix it? The health sector in this country suffers from tenderpreneurship, suffers from cartel-like running of the institution of health. Can the Ministry of Health work? Can the Ministry of Health equivalent departments in the counties work? Can we ensure the amount that is being deducted is commensurate with the services that is given in hospitals? Can we get better coverage under SHA? Is it too much to ask for the government to go back to the drawing board, consult the stakeholders, and come up with a master plan that will ensure the system works? It's too expensive a system not to work. It must work. It ought to work. It should work. Because Kenyans cannot take any more of this suffering. My 2 cents would be, we sit down as a country, identify the problems that bedevil our health sector, solve them, and ensure that every Kenyan can access health, whether they have the money or not. And that is my unfiltered insight.